I'm back from vacation. Yep, those were pre-uploads. But either way, guys, we have the Bears 2023 roster. It's obviously much improved from last year. Obviously, they had the worst record in the league last year. Won the Tank Bowl, hence they got a better roster because, again, they traded the number 1 pick to the Panthers. But, yep, we have the Bears 2023 roster. Let's go down to Chicago. Here we go. Of course, welcome back to Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed these Chicago Bears 2023 roster grades. Obviously, they've got a pretty newer roster considering the fact that, again, they went out in free agency, signed some guys, obviously got some guys from the draft, and, of course, acquired DJ Moore along with a haul for the first overall pick, which they won, of course, through the Tank Bowl. And, obviously, if we look at this team, it's not great, but the Bears, again, go through the roster grades again. Every single grade, like a B and a B plus, there's a difference. Because, again, 5 points every single grade. And as well, they get more than 234 points. They're more than average. I don't know if they'll get that, but they're better than last year. And, yeah, let's get right into them, starting out with Justin Fields. And, oh, boy, got a lot to say about him. Here we go. All right, guys, look at this Bears quarterback room. I'm going to talk about save Justin Fields for a second. But first things first, Nathan Peterman. If you don't know who he is by now, just look up Bills vs. Chargers 2017, and he will come up. Nathan Peterman, obviously, he's in the league just for the memes. But yeah, he's their third string quarterback. Tyson Bagent, I've actually gotten to see him a little bit out of Shepherd. He's actually a massive arm, like a huge arm. But the only problem with him is he went to like a D3 college, so like no one knows who he is. But he might get some playing time. I don't know. I hope he stays in this team though. Tyson Bagent does have a cannon. PJ Walker, of course, former Panther quarterback. He had some starts last year. Wasn't great. I mean, like 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Didn't win many games. I mean, you did nothing against the Rams in that one start. That's really all I know from him. Horse with the Panthers last year. Where is he? Okay, PJ Walker went 2-3 in his 5 starts. Okay, but I remember he played pretty decent against the what is it called, the Bucks. But other than that, he didn't do much. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. Like, he can run a little bit, maybe not as much as he did in 2021. But he's not a terrible quarterback. I mean, he could be worse. I mean, better. But I mean, he works as a backup, probably like mid-tier backup there. Now for Justin Fields, pretty simple with him. I mean, like Justin, he's a great runner, but he's like, he could definitely use some work passing. First things first, he has some of the best arm talent in the whole entire league. My bad, not arm talent again. He was top 10 in the league in interceptions. That's not great. Completion percentage is a little skewed though. Interception percent is not great. Let me just put it that way. It's pretty high. He took 55 sacks, which is led the whole entire league. Adjusted yards per attempt is pretty bad, not gonna lie. And overall, I mean, yeah, he led the league in rushing for quarterbacks, 8 total touchdowns. He did have 16 fumbles, though. Pretty simple. He was a turnover machine who had a ton of rushing yards and a lot of turnovers. Let me just put it like that. But we accumulated for his whole season. I do think he was okay. Like, I think he was a good presence for the Bears. Because passing, he does show flashes, and he has a decent deep ball. Like, you can't argue that. Like, his deep ball is good. But underneath, over the middle, reading defenses, he's not great. Kind of simple there. His footwork is atrocious. It's not good. But Justin Fields is a quarter. Again, he was really raw, pretty raw as a prospect. He still is really raw, but I think he shows enough flash in the fact that he has a good reliant deep ball. The fact that he's just simply just a playmaker is something that you can't ignore. And yeah, his passing numbers are pretty putrid, but and you watch him on film, it's terrible. I want to beat him for how bad his footwork is, but he's still a pretty decent quarterback. From time to time, he does make some big throws. He's just got to be a lot more consistent, which I think he'll be able to build up through. But Justin Fields got to be a lot more consistent passing-wise and maybe not get the ball out quicker. Like, he had some wide-open receivers in the flat hitting checkdowns. It's just something he hasn't really been able to do in his career yet, which is something that every quarterback has to be able to do. He's got to take a step back, stop trying to make as many big plays. He still will be able to. But Justin Fields, if he takes these many hits again, he's probably going to get CT. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. There's a lot to say, though. And for Justin Fields, I'll give him a C- because, I'll give him a straight up C. Here's why. I am a fan of Justin Fields, if you didn't know. I think his ability to make plays is among the best in the league. That's how I'll put it. He can throw on the run better than people give him credit for. He can make those throws. In the pocket, he's a mess. I get that, yes. But at the same point, Josh Allen was kind of the same way back in 2019. The only difference is Josh Allen, a lot more conservative in most ways, and he just got the ball out quicker. But in the same facet, Justin Fields, if you give him the ability to basically run the football and scramble, he is so good. But he needs to get better in the pocket. It's simple as that. If he gets better in the pocket, I think Justin Fields is a very solid quarterback. At this point, want to know why he's a C and not a C- or a D? It's pretty simple. He is the second best. Right now, second best quarterback who can run in the league. The only difference is, again, he just needs to get better passing. He's got arm talent. He just doesn't have the consistency yet, at least accuracy-wise, to be great. And again, his what is called ability to read the field is just not great right now. He doesn't process well. So that comes out to about 25 points for Justin Fields. Let's get into this running back core. Running back room. It's a little weird, but it's a pretty cool group. First things first, of course, he signed Dante Foreman in the offseason, who had a breakout year with the Carolina Panthers last year. 4.5 yards per carry. He actually broke tackles last year, which I'm just gonna be honest, he's kind of crazy. 20.5 yards per break tackles per attempt, which isn't great. It's not terrible. Like it's pretty decent. He did fumble once though. Had 5 total touchdowns on 200 carries. Was a huge guy. With just being a really good bruiser for them. Obviously, he had a 60-yard touchdown as well, showing that explosiveness. Not gonna do much for you in the receiving game, but he did have a 940 scrimmage yards, and we look at and he had 73.1 PFF grade, which is decent as well. Like, Dante Foreman's a good back. He's just kind of not really gonna be wow you. He's not gonna do much in the receiving game. He's definitely not an all-purpose back, but he will be their power back for sure. Probably gonna lead him in carries though. Meanwhile, you look at Khalil Herbert, who is, I'm gonna be honest, he led the league in yards per carry. He is major efficient. If you didn't know, I talked a little bit about him when he came out of the draft. This dude is a guy who played for, I think was it Virginia Tech or was it Miami? Khalil Herbert. He played for, was it Virginia Tech? Yeah, he played for Virginia Tech, right? Yeah. So, he got injured a couple times. He's a little bit of an older back coming out of college, but when he ran the football, he was so explosive. Like, it was crazy. He was so good there. I'll be honest though, receiving wise, he could be better. Didn't get too many touches, but he was still pretty good. I think he just needs to become a better route runner, to be honest, because he had to really break a lot of tackles and get out of trouble there as a receiving back. But they do have Roschon Johnson, who again was behind obviously Bijan Robinson. He's a really solid back as well. I definitely think that the fact that he didn't get as many carries is going to be good for him in the league. He'll have a lot more juice than some of these other backs. I do think he'll get a good amount of carries, though. Travis Homer, a really good special teamer as well. Overall, again, a really versatile backfield. Again, they really don't have a true receiving back yet. Khalil Herbert's good in the receiving game, but again, his route running definitely needs some work. Roschon Johnson really was a backup there, but he has a lot of potential. I do like him a lot. Again, very talented in a lot of facets. Again, he can break tackles as well. Not going to be much of a power back. That's why they got Dante Foreman. It's all I got for the Bears, guys. Let's get right into their grade at running back. And at running back for the Bears, I'll give them a B- because in my opinion, Khalil Herbert is one of the most valuable backs in the league. Just for the fact that on basically every run, you're going to get at least 4 yards. I'm not even kidding. He didn't have many runs last year where he had less than 4 yards. I mean, maybe a couple, but he gets out of trouble really well. And even if he misses a hole, which is rare, he gets out of it. Not only that, though, he's so freaking explosive. Roschon Johnson will come there in there as well as a receiving back. Really just a guy who's going to kind of rotate. He can basically do anything that you need as to relieve, obviously, Khalil Herbert. And Dante Foreman, who, again, is going to be their power back. Overall, I think this is a pretty good backfield. I mean, it's not one of the best in the league, but it's definitely underrated because they have a three-headed monster that can be very good. Again, Roschon Johnson might not be as good as he is going to be later in the season, but he's still really back. So that comes out to 9, 18, 21 points for this running back room. Time for the wide receiver core. Alright, obviously the guy they traded for, DJ Moore, is a #1 receiver. I mean, last year was probably his worst year in a couple years as a receiver, to be honest. Yeah, he really sucked to start the season. It wasn't just, again, the quarterback. That was part of it, but he wasn't getting open, going to be completely honest with you. So, even with that, Sam Darnold, he has a really good connection with. Even though Justin Fields is now his quarterback, I think they're going to really have to get something going there. Really good, yards per catch, though. His catch percentage was pretty putrid, but 880 yards, 7 touchdowns on 62 catches, pretty good. 118 targets is a ton, but again, he was their #1. Pretty good. Wasn't crazy in the amount of yards. Depth of target, 13 yards. I mean, that's pretty good. He was getting targeted downfield a lot more than you expect from him. And he had a decent, he didn't have great drop percentage. Again, he dropped some passes last year for sure, but he was still really explosive. They used him a little bit in the receiving game in Carolina. Again, he was their #1. But either way, you look at these other receivers, I mean, Chase Claypool was okay. I don't think he was terrible. To be honest, he really didn't get a fair amount of, chances. Again, he just didn't really get good chemistry with Justin Fields at all last year. But even more importantly, I don't think Chase Claypool is going to be asked to do as much. He's gotten to be basically just be a big play guy, which I think is good for him. Really good jump ball receiver. Just got to be more consistent, to be honest. Darnell Mooney is going to be the guy they're going to count on if DJ Moore just gets straight up dogged on. I mean, really good rookie year, but last year just wasn't crazy great. Maybe, wait, was that his rookie year? I'm kind of being slow right now. No, that wasn't his rookie year. Really good 2021 rookie year. Was okay. I mean, he's not like a number one. You could argue he's not even number two, but he's still a solid receiver. Again, got hurt in week 12 last year against the Jets ending his season. See how that's going to impact him. I don't know, but I will say I don't think he's gonna be running his routes as efficiently. So keeping that in mind, Darnell Mooney may be a little hampered. Equinemius St. Brown, who is going to be completely honest, their number one receiver by the end of the season. He is a roller coaster. He basically just doesn't get separation, but finds a way to make a couple catches. His depth of target was decent. I don't know why that's a percentage, but Chase, what it's called, Equinemius St. Brown isn't the worst guy to have in the world. I mean, he works, but he definitely is just not going to, you don't want him playing a bit less, to be honest. Tyler Scott, of course, out of Cincinnati, is a pretty decent guy prospect. The reason he was taken in the 4th round, to be honest, was can't really run an out route, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue, of course, in this Bears offense. And as well, Dante Pettis is a solid guy. I mean, he can work when you put him on the field. That's kind of about it, though. You got Velus Jones Jr., who is a returner for them, is really fast. That's kind of about it for them. I mean, maybe a gadget receiver. But overall, I like this receiving core. But again, to be honest, it's a little banged up. And Tyler Scott as your 5th receiver is not great. And probably even St. Brown as your 4th receiver isn't great. So what I got for the receiving core, guys, let's get right into the Bears receiving core grade. And this receiving core, I'll give a B. Yeah, I'll give him a B. Because DJ Moore is a legitimate number 1 receiver. And at the very worst, Chase Claypool or Darnell Mooney will be a number 2 receiver. Like, that's at the worst. Like, at least one of them is going to step up. Because Chase Claypool in his rookie year was an arguable number 1. I'm not king for at least a moment. But Darnell Mooney, I do think is a number 2 receiver. And even then, our Equinemius St. Brown, Tyler Scott, and Dante Pettis will fill in as a guy who come in and basically make a couple plays there. Justin Fields has the receiving core he needs. It's not great. I mean, it could be better. The depth could definitely be better, but it's not the worst core. I mean, you see, like, it's definitely an improvement from last year, considering that three of the guys that you saw there, Velus Jones Jr., what the heck, Equinemius St. Brown and Dante Pettis were the starters for them last year. Thank God they're not starting anymore. But overall, receiving core's a lot better than last year for sure. That comes with the 9-18. What the heck is that? 24 points for the receiving core. Time for the tight end position. Let's go. Obviously, tight end for the Bears. You can't forget about Cole Kmet. Obviously, he has been their tight end for a couple years now. He's a pretty decent dude, obviously. 50 catches, 540 yards, 69 targets, 7 touchdowns, which is top 5 in the league last year as well. He had a decent catch percentage. He had actually a decent amount of yards. I mean, it wasn't like crazy great, but it was still pretty good. He wasn't like insane last year for sure. I mean, honestly, his best year was probably 2021. Like, he was good that year. Again, he got drafted 2 years ago in 2020, obviously. As a second-round pick in Notre Dame, he was good at Notre Dame. He's been a solid tight end in the league. Again, 7 touchdowns is a career high. He's not the best guy in the world, but he's definitely a solid tight end for sure. Robert Tonyan, again, he had that one big year with Green Bay in 2020. 2021 injury riddle again, tore his ACL in week 8 against the Cardinals. And then last year, he was okay, just didn't look the same, and his blocking definitely took a decline there. And he didn't even catch as many. Yeah, did he even catch a touchdown last year? He caught 2, okay. Jake Toggins, not gonna lie, never heard of this dude. I've heard Chase Allen though. No idea who this dude is. Chase Allen though, out of Iowa State, he actually made some plays there. If you didn't know, he and Brock Purdy go back a little bit. Maybe not as much as Charlie Kohler, but yeah. Overall, they got really just basically two tight ends. I mean, Robert Tonyan can get injured, so if Cole Kmet does, they're kind of screwed. But overall, it's not the worst tight end room. And a tight end for the Bears, I'll give him a C+, because I'm gonna be honest. I'll give him a B- because Cole Kmet, yeah, I get he's not the greatest blocker, but he's a solid tight end. That's how I'll put it. He's a good player, and obviously, Robert Tonyan can be good too. But out of that, they have no depth, which is a little bit of a problem. But again, Cole Kmet's good enough to the point where I trust him to stay healthy. So B- what I got here, it's not a good thing, but whatever. Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, that's a decent tight end room. Again, the depth is going to keep me from living higher, but if they had better depth, it would probably be a B. So it comes out to, what is that, 6, 12, 14 points for the tight end room. Time for the offensive line. In this offensive line for the Bears, okay, Kyrie Bossingham is not a terrible fullback either, a really good blocker. He will be a part of this team as well. But either way, first off, I just want to talk about the depth because it's pretty funny. Keelan Dietrich, I'm not going to lie, never heard of this dude. It's not good. Other than that, though, Ja'Tyre Carter, not gonna lie, 7th round pick out of Southern, hasn't played a snap. I'm worried. Lucas Patrick was pretty bad last year. I'm not, like, really bad with Packers. He's been decent in the couple years past. I mean, 2021, 2020 wasn't terrible when he played. But, I mean, he's a good veteran. Honestly, probably the best offensive lineman on this team. At least not starter, obviously. But Dieter Eisenland out of Yale, never heard of this dude. Larry Borum, though, I've heard of this dude. He's played a little bit. He's okay, again, out of Missouri with that 5th-round pick in 2021. But he definitely could use some work. He started last year, really did struggle. Again, really needed on right there. But overall, this depth pretty putrid. I mean, Alex Leatherwood, that was such a bad pick by the Raiders. Oh, my God. Doug Kramer as well. Honestly, this might be the best center depth in the whole league. But outside of center, the depth on the offensive line for the Bears is just horrible. Braxton Jones, you could argue, was the best player on this offense last year. I'm not going to lie. He had a really good rookie year. Tevin Jenkins, thank God he's playing guard now. He wasn't good last year, but he definitely improved towards the end of the year. Cody Whitehair hasn't been healthy since, like, 2018. He's good when he's on the field. Like, he's definitely the most experienced guy here. He's more of a guard, in my opinion, but he's played center, so, like, whatever. Nate Davis, really like the signing here. Desperately needed him from the Titans. Can't really pass block, but Justin Fields doesn't really expect much from here because, again, he really just slides left most of the time anyway, so my bad, left, so it doesn't really matter. But Nate Davis, really good run blocker. And then, of course, Darnell Wright, the 10th overall pick, who I expect a lot of. I expect him to be a really good blocker on both sides. He doesn't have to be the greatest run blocker, but he at least has to be able to set the edge because they're going to really rely on him to basically follow Justin Fields around and make sure he's basically fine. Basically a secret agent. So that's what I got for the Bears offensive line. It's a weird group, but, I mean, it kind of works, not going to lie. And for a line that surrendered the most sacks last year, not just because of them, but, again, the Justin Fields, obviously. But, gonna be honest, I mean, the starting group is solid. Like, I'm going to be honest, that starting group is good. Tevin Jenkins is probably the worst guy there, but he's not even that bad. So, that's probably like a B- type of group there, but the depth is so bad, I got to give him a C. I mean, the depth on this offensive line is just horrible. It's so bad. So, I got to give him a C, guys. So, that comes out to 10 points for that offensive line. Time for the overall offensive grade. If this offense, 94 points and a C overall grade, I think that's pretty fair for the Bears because, gonna be honest, that's kind of what their season was last year. Their offense, first half of the season, was not good. Kind of like that. It wasn't bad, but Justin Fields threw the ball a lot more there. Let me put it that way, and it worked out. But again, they just started getting hurt, and then they just started running the ball, and they had the worst passing offense in the league, and the best running game in the league from the first from weeks. I think it was week maybe 10 to the end of the season. So just that, and the fact that, gonna be honest, there's no depth at all in this offense. Again, that's gonna come back to the depth overall later, but it's just a little thin, not gonna lie. I mean, there's some good groups here, but outside of this wide receiver core, which is questionable even there really isn't a for sure part of this team. I mean, the stars in the offensive line are pretty good, but other than that, I mean, I'm not confident in really anything. Maybe the running back core is pretty good too, and yeah, Cole Kmet, but there's pieces to this offense. It's just kind of a mess overall, gonna be honest. So I like it, but it's just not great. Time for this defense. Starting out the linebacking core. Here we go. And yep, it is a very revamped linebacking core for the Bears. I want to talk about Noah Sewell first, of course, out of Oregon. Underperformed heavily last year, but in 2021, he was looking like a top 10 pick. If you played his balls out, probably going to be my bad, top 5. But out of Oregon, Noah Sewell, I expect. Honestly, he's got to be better than last year. He's definitely not he's not Dan Henley out of the draft, obviously, in coverage. But he's not terrible in coverage. He just straight up didn't make many plays last year, missed some tackles, just wasn't the same player. Noah Sewell, I do expect to be a lot better in the league, though. He actually is getting better coaching. I think he'll be pretty good, though. Dylan Cole, of course, coming over from Tennessee. He was pretty good last year in his first year with the Bears. I mean, my bad, not the Bears, the Titans. But he was a backup basically all the other years. But last year, as a starter, wasn't great in coverage, but he definitely was a solid run defender. So good guy they have there to come in on short yard situations. During Weatherford and Miami, Ohio, obviously. Not gonna lie, I've seen a little bit of this dude last year, but he just didn't do much, and I don't expect a ton out of him. Terrell Lewis also was on this team. Other than that, Michael Baskerville out of LSU really had a terrible injury. Outside of that, though, again, he's a pretty aggressive dude. He can actually get off the quarterback, too, which is cool, and pretty good in coverage, but he's just, again, had an injury, and he really can't tackle either, which is just not good for a linebacker, but Michael Baskerville could be worse. Either way, though, getting the starters, TJ Edwards, best year by far last year with the Eagles. He was really solid. Other than the fact that he had that one terrible play in that divisional game, which really didn't matter, he really had a good year. 2021 really didn't do a ton in coverage. Actually got burned a little bit. Was a liability there. But 2022 stepped it up. Made a ton of big plays. Didn't miss many tackles. Really had a good year overall. Tremaine Edmonds, very athletic linebacker. He's been the same guy basically his whole career, which is good. At the same time, it's not good, though, because, again, he jumps a lot of routes. His instinct sometimes betrays him. But overall, he's definitely above average linebacker for sure. Jack Sanborn, who, again, got really hurt last year, but as a football player, you're not going to find many guys better. Like, he was really good last year as a player overall. But he definitely could be better in pass coverage. That's all I got for this linebacking core. Overall, it's a pretty good group. So the depth is okay on this linebacking core, but I'm going to be honest, I'll give them a B. Here's why. T.J. Edwards really had one really consistent good year. Tremaine Edmonds has been good his whole career. We get that. But Jack Sanborn, he got hurt. I don't know for sure if he can be the same player. Because, again, he was so aggressive last year. He doesn't rely on his athleticism, though, but that's good. Again, the depth isn't crazy. They don't have, like, a superstar linebacker that I got to be like, they're pretty good. But this is arguably the best part of this team so far. I'm going to be honest, it's a pretty good group there. Got to give them a B for their linebacking core. A lot better than last year. That comes out to 9, 18, 24 points for this linebacking core. Time for the defensive line. Oh boy. I'm gonna be mean here. I'll put it like that. But disregarding the pass rush aspect of this defensive line, well, other than the interior, but Travis Gibson is a decent run blocker. Run defender. My bad. He set the edge pretty well. I mean, that's kind of all I got for him though. That's really about it. He can get bullied, but he's decent holding his own. Andrew Billings, though, honestly gets a little more pressure than people don't give him credit for. But with the Raiders last year, again, he had his best year in 2018 with the Bengals. But again, after that for COVID, didn't really play at all in 2021. But 2022, really got some good playing time with the Raiders as a starter. Was a pretty decent nose tackle. He's basically a nose tackle. But definitely, I do expect him to be a lot better this year in terms of pressure. Because, again, he's building up. He had a really good end of the season with those. But either way, Justin Jones, 3 sacks, 52 tackles last year with, with the Bears. He actually, I'm gonna be honest, was probably the most productive player in this defensive line. He's a pretty solid player. The only issue I have with him is he doesn't really have a finesse game, which Gervon Dexter Sr. who does. So that's why I think I'll bring him in. And as well, Zach Pickens can't get off the quarterback again. He's just simply gonna be honest, isn't just gonna have brick hands, but he does have a really good tenacity, which I think is pretty good. But he works well with the quarterback. Actually, decent bend. You might even be able to put him on the edge. But they got 2 really solid guys in the interior, rookie backups. So I like the depth there. And as well, DeMarcus Walker, not gonna lie, he was brought in to be their #1 pass rusher. He's not terrible. But he's not terrible in run defense, but that's definitely not his specialty. Really athletic dude. The only issue I have with him is he's just simply not consistent, which I do think could come back to bite him this year. Rasheem Green's okay. Yeah, and the other guy was kind of just bums, not going to lie. So we got for the defensive line. Let's get right into their grade. The fact they got depth, and there's at least some promise there. I mean, Travis Gibson shouldn't be starting, but they have some depth, and they're going to stop the run pretty well. I'm going to give them a C. It's not anything special, but they have decent depth, and they've got a pretty good versatile group, which I think will make them serviceable. But the talent definitely isn't there. I'm going to be honest. They don't have any headliners at all, but they do have some guys who can get the job done. So that comes out to, 10 points? Yeah, 10 points for that defensive line. Time for the pass rush grade. Oh boy, this won't be pretty. Okay, even DeMarcus Walker isn't reliable on the pass rush even then. The interior pressure I think will be mediocre. Because again, Gervon Dexter Sr. can get after the quarterback. Zach Pickens has the instinct and the talent to get after the quarterback. But they don't have anything close to a refined pass rusher. DeMarcus Walker's athletic enough and has the bend to do it. But outside of that, I mean, Dominique Robertson was their #1 pass rusher last year. Not gonna lie. That's not good. Travis Gibson, you could say he was. This pass rush was so bad last year. And who do they add? I mean, they got some interior pressure, which I think will come once in a while. But after that, DeMarcus Walker. He's okay, but it's really bad. So last year was an F. I'll give them a D though. Their pass rush, it's gonna be pretty bad, but it's not gonna be as bad as last year. I do think they'll at least be able to give them something, but the secondary is gonna have to be really good next year. I'll just put it like that. That comes out to 8 points? Pretty big dud for that pass rush. Let's get to the cornerback room of the Bears. Let's go. Yay. No. And And a cornerback for the Bears. Okay, it's a pretty interesting group. They've actually got some pretty decent depth, though. They don't have a number one corner, though. Jalen Johnson, I mean, he's been okay. Yeah. Last year, really decent in zone. He relied heavily on outside, what is it called? Outside leverage the whole season. Not gonna lie, because he could not keep receivers, to the inside at all. I'm not even kidding. Like, he tried to play inside technique. Inside leverage. He just got burned down the sideline a lot. But I still do think that he can grow off of that, and he will be better this year. Again, he had a lot of catches over the middle, but he still. I do think he'll be better this year. Again, before he got hurt. But then again, you look at it last year. In 2021, it was honestly probably his best year so far. 2020 was actually a pretty decent year, but 2021, he actually was able to make a lot of plays over the middle, which I think he can get back to this year. But he cannot let receivers get over the top on him like he did last year. It was not good. Tyreek Stevenson, on the other hand, again out of Miami, not gonna lie, he's just a true man corner. He's not the most talented and most athletic, but he will be a reliable guy. He's probably better in trail at this point, but he is really good at making plays. And again, he's just more of a man corner at this point. But again, he is a little bit of a head case. But he's not. Again, he's not like. Again, he's more of a football player, but he can get burned once in a while. But he's more of a man corner. You put him in zone, he won't do anything. Like, he doesn't want to play zone, and he's just not great at it either. So that's what I got there, guys. And again, Kendall Vildor, actually really underrated season last year. He made a lot of nice plays, didn't really make many mistakes, but he definitely didn't make up for what he did in 2021. Yeesh, those were some bad touchdowns he gave up. But he's still not terrible. Kyler Gordon, kind of a slot guy as a rookie. He definitely had some of his growing pains last year. But he wasn't. He was honestly probably the most impactful defensive player last year. At least towards the end of the season, he's pretty decent. Jalen Jones is okay, and Josh Blackwell is kind of just there. Michael Ojemudia, not gonna lie, haven't seen him since Denver. So yeah, this secondary is, this cornerback room is pretty decent. Just for the depth they've got, and the versatility, I gotta give them a C+. This cornerback room is pretty decent. Probably, honestly, the best part of this defense, maybe other than the safeties, but honestly, C+. That's what I'm gonna give them. So that comes out to 12 points for that cornerback room. Time for the safeties. And at safety for the Bears. First off, Jaquan Brisker. He was a playmaker last year. He made himself very well known. I'll just put it like that. And honestly, he was pretty good in coverage last year, other than the fact that he got burned, like cooked a couple games, especially against the Bills. But yes, he missed tackles. Yes, he made mistakes. But was he overall a good player? Yes, he's a good player. Yeah, he's really aggressive, and I like that a lot. He does get cooked over the top once in a while, but that's what comes with Jaquan Brisker. He's a very solid player. I expect him to grow even better and do a Pro Bowl safety this year. Really good guy for them. Really big lion run stopper there. Not gonna lie, he's probably when you look at his passers, which I'll be honest, you got felons and state penitentiaries who are probably more productive than these guys. Jaquan Brisker might be the best pass rusher. Eddie Jackson, on the other hand, felons and state penitentiaries were probably more productive than he was from 2020 to 2021. But last year, he was actually pretty good. Finally, actually wasn't terrible. Like, I think he got the wake-up call. But since he got, I think his leg snapped in half against the Jets in Week 12. But hope he can bounce back from that, because if he can get back to the way he was playing last year, towards the end of before he got hurt, towards the end of that, I think he was pretty good. So I do think Eddie Jackson can get. I mean, not back to his elite self, but I definitely think he can be as good as he was in coverage. So yeah, he can be very good. Kendall Williamson out of Stanford, you don't want him starting. There's a reason they drafted him. He's got some pretty decent technique when it comes to filling gaps, but that's kind of about it, not gonna lie, because he can't cover for his life. Elijah Hicks last year did fill in a lot for Eddie Jackson. Wasn't great, but he just didn't, honestly, I don't even think he gave a touchdown. He might have been good in coverage, but he just didn't really show me enough to the point where I'm like, yeah, he's decent. But he could be worse there. The depth is lacking, definitely, in the safety room, and there are question marks for sure, but Jaquan Brisker being there is good. Again, he was still a rookie last year. Gotta keep that in mind, too. Overall, I like this safety room. The depth isn't great, and the fact that Eddie Jackson basically got his leg snapped in half before just the fact that he was just horrible in 2021 and 2020 keeps me from giving him like a B+. But I might give him a B, because I just like those guys a lot. And again, the depth, I don't care about the depth. Like, screw the depth for this. Like, if Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker stay healthy, they'll a top 5 safety duo in the league. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how good those two can be. Obviously, Eddie Jackson's got to get back to what he was playing last year, but I think he can do it. So, yeah, it's a little bit overrating. I don't care. Let's come out to 9, 18, 24 points for that safety room. Time for this overall defensive grade. So their defense actually gets a D, but I'll give them a C minus. So I think the back end and the linebackers are going to have to be elite in coverage because this defensive line is not good. But the fact that Matt Eberfluss is there, I think he'll make this defense better than they're going to look. Talent-wise, they do have a decent linebacking core. They got a good secondary, but I got to give them a D+. That might be the worst defensive line in the league, I'm not going to lie. It's not good. And the fact they don't have any edge rush at all is a problem. That's what I got there. In the NFL today, pass rush is the most important thing on defense. You don't have pass rush, you're screwed. In the run defense, I don't think it's gonna be great either. Because again, their run fits are just not gonna work with the guys they have. They don't have a guy who can simply just consistently win it in run defense. Yeah, they have guys who are decent. They have guys who can basically set the edge on defense at least. But it's just not great. I gotta give him a D+. I don't know what to say. It's just not good. Time for the special teams unit. Since 2020, Carlos Santos has been my favorite kicker because the Bears finally have a good kicker. That's what I got there. He's been really solid for them the past 3 years. Obviously, they didn't have a kicker before him. He's their guy now. He's a really good player. Trenton Gill, he had some punts blocked last year, but other than that, I mean, he has a pretty decent leg. He could be better, but he's not bad. He works. Meanwhile, you look at the other guys. Dante Pettis, he just doesn't muff punts. He muffed a couple, but he wasn't as bad as Velus Jones Jr. But Velus Jones Jr. is a really high ceiling returner, which is good for them. But again, he can muff the ball, muff punts. He muffed the kick returner for that matter. Patrick Scales, he's been their long snapper for a pretty long time. He works there as well. Overall, this is a pretty wild special teams unit, but it works. Again, Carlos Santos works. The return game is questionable, but the other guys are pretty decent too. Again, Trenton Gill is not a terrible punter, and Patrick Scales is a pretty good long snapper. C+ for the special teams unit. It works. Comes out to 6 points for that special teams unit. Time for the Bears depth. Oh god. Okay, quarterback. PJ Walker is a pretty reliable backup. I mean, he works. So I'll give them like I don't know, C+. Running back depth, B. Wide receiver depth, probably a B. I mean, again, it's just I can't get over the fact that we didn't make the St. Brown was on the field, but you know, maybe a B+. It works. Tight end, C-, maybe D+, because again, Robert Tonyan gets hurt a lot. Offensive line depth, F. And Lucas Patrick isn't terrible, but outside of that, I don't want any of those guys to even cling. Like, don't even let them in the stadium. Like, F. It's awful. Offensive overall depth, I don't know, probably a D+, maybe a C-. I'm probably a D+. Linebacker depth, B. It's good. Defensive line depth, they actually have some decent depth, but again, they have no passers, so C. I'll give them C+. Their pass is just bad as it is, so D. Cornerback depth, probably a B+, solid. Safety depth could be better, but probably a B-. So overall, this defensive depth, I don't even know. Probably like a C, probably a C-, yeah. So, with all that in mind, this team's depth is not good, but it's not the worst in the league. They don't have a super thin roster, but there's some positions like the offensive line that if they fall apart, the whole team's gonna. So, honestly, I'm gonna give him a C-, but it could. Should I give him a D+? I'll give him a C- because they do have like positions like quarterback and like overall this offense and defense overall like it's not terrible. It kind of works to be honest. So yeah, C- what I got there, guys, comes out to what is that 16 points for the Bears depth. Time for this team identity. A lot of new faces on this Bears team, and the fact they don't have David Montgomery does concern me just the slightest about how they're going to be able to run the ball behind two dudes, because again, they gave 301 carries to David Montgomery last year, which was a lot. So that's what I got there. And again, this wide receiver core, I don't know how they're going to mesh super well together, because again, they have 3 guys who do a lot of different stuff, but they don't have that super duper great deep. I mean, DJ Moore can do that, but again, they don't have a speedster there. Tight end, and like overall this offense, I don't know if they if someone gets hurt, it's going to ruin their whole thing. But I do think it's going to be through Justin Fields again in a lot of ways. But I do think that he's going to have to lean on the running backs a lot more than he did last year. So I don't know. They're offensively, I think they know what they do. But again, with that Eberfluss there, I'm gonna be honest, probably like a C. I think they know what they do, but I think it's okay. Defensively, I have no freaking idea. I have an idea that maybe they're going to use their linebackers, which they tried to do last year, but with Jack Sanborn getting hurt, no one could cover. In their secondary, without Eddie Jackson, was kind of a mess. Outside of Jaquan Brisker, who could, again, he was good in coverage, but didn't get tested downfield once because he's basically a box safety. So overall, I think this team knows what they're going to do, but I don't think it's clear. So I'm going to give them a C- there. That comes out to about 20 points for the for this Bears team identity. Let's get this overall roster grade. Here we go. And this Bears roster falls right into C-, which I think is pretty fair for them. Offensively, I do think they'll be able to score points, but defensively, that pass rush is just so bad. I can't give them anything higher. I think they'll be okay, but it's such a far cry from what they used to have. And again, injuries, depth, stuff like that is just something they don't have. It's pretty mediocre roster at this point. There are some promising positions, but the thin team with with a defense that just is really relying on really like 4 players can't be a good formula. And again, I don't know about their coach. So C- is what they got there, 214 total points for that Bears team. That's all I got there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the Bears 2023 roster grades. Good luck to Justin Fields for not sucking, but that's all I got there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the next one. Obviously, you might want to know who this dude is. Obviously, Mr. Irrelevant. See you in the next one.
4 options into the near side of the field. On 3rd and goal, Purdy lofting, end zone, Kohler, touchdown! They've come all the way back. With 24 seconds, it's the Norman native Charlie Kohler with a touchdown. And now decision time. Matt Campbell wastes no time. He says we're